There are many that call this mountain range the most striking in the world, the Grand Tetons, rising to almost 14,000 feet. This valley stretching 55 miles long just south of Yellowstone National Park. And the weather that comes in here continues to change and evolve this landscape. Descending into Jackson, Wyoming, the Grand Tetons stand like skyscrapers. They rule this landscape.
People from all over the country and all over the world come here. Grand Teton National Park is spectacular. From mountain views to lakeshore views to the Snake River to this just beautiful landscape.
There are 6 glacial lakes at the base of the Teton Range and over 10 active glaciers. Here, warmer temperatures are causing the glaciers to melt at a rapid rate. That is according to the National Park Service. And some of the glaciers in the park may have lost so much ice volume that they are no longer flowing and active.
My favorite part is probably the beauty. When you stand in front of a glacial lake and you're looking at the mountains in the background, and especially if a moose or an elk were to walk by, it's just fabulous.
Rocks that make the Tetons are nearly 2.5 billion years old, despite it being the youngest range in the Rocky Mountains. In the fall of 2022, a high-altitude rock slide occurred. What fell is being described as a big chunk of the mountain.
The mountains are a dynamic environment, and so we can certainly see rockfall. There's potential for that, and it correlates directly to some of the weather and climate change and all sorts of different things.
For serious hikers, locals, and photographers, there is a noticeable difference in the appearance of the range. But for most, they are focused on the jaw-dropping beauty of the peaks and wildlife.
We saw a grizzly bear. We were driving up this road and we had seen someone in a van over there who said, "Come up here." And we saw everybody with lenses. We pulled over, we saw the bear walking across this field and just tracked it, and I was freaking out. Yeah.
I've just been asked by him to move everyone down there, please.
Sure.
For the millions of yearly visitors, this kind of proximity to wildlife is uncharted territory.
We have all kinds of wildlife here. That's such a variety, but the biggest draw is probably the larger mammals, which would be the bears and the moose, the elk. People come here especially for the bears.
Distance and a strong presence of mind is imperative when pulling over a vehicle and viewing the animals. And a good reminder, a grizzly bear can run up to 40 miles per hour if provoked.
We just ask that people give wildlife their distance. We've had a lot of issues this summer in Grand Teton and Yellowstone with people getting too close to wildlife and actually touching. So for wildlife safety, for visitor safety, please keep your distance.
Under the rapid changing weather systems of the valley, rainbows, rain, and bison create what can only be seen as a mystical oasis on the great western landscape of the United States. The many trails here are open, and the wilderness is the prize. In Grand Teton National Park, Robert Ray, Fox Weather.
I'm Amy Freeze. Welcome to Fox Weather's YouTube page. We have more great videos on the way, so make sure to subscribe to stay updated on all things weather.